Hello, viewers of The Spell, and welcome to a new edition of What If Deku Was Yami's Reincarnation. Now, like always, please like, share, and subscribe. All of those help the channel in various ways, along with allowing me to know that you want more of this. Second off, this is something I haven't been pushing because no one seems interested, but I both have a Anime What If subreddit along with a Discord. But without further ado, let's begin this What If. Shortly after the UA entrance exam, Midoriya would receive a letter from UA with All Might announcing his entry into the hero course. A small tear would exit Midoriya's eye as he was happy, as inside of his mind, Yami, who had learned how to alter the mindscape so he at least had a chair, would also be happy. Midoriya would tell his mother and they would celebrate. He would cover his katana with a cloth sleeve, and he would head off. When he got to UA, he found a lot of the doors were incredibly large, which he thought was odd until he realized they probably were made with the idea of people having mutation type quirks that gave them a large size. As just to let you guys, the viewers, know, breaking character here for a minute, a variety of people from class 1A have been replaced with Black Clover characters, primarily those who have almost no impact on the plot. As he walked in and saw a number of people, he saw two people with red hair in the back. One was the boy who helped him in the entrance exam. Red, fiery hair. And someone else with a two-toned hair. He assumed that was his brother. As he continued looking around, he saw Bakugo in the same class, as he sighed. Especially when he saw that the boy who had openly called him out twice was arguing with him. As the blue-haired boy would approach him quickly and say, "I'm sorry for what I said before. You were clearly a more observant student than I was." Recognizing the use of rescue points, along with going back to save that girl. "I am sorry for my comments." Midoriya, getting taken aback slightly, would just say, "No worries, I just did what I thought was right." As he heard a girl's voice behind him. As the brunette would walk up and say, "I know that messy hair." as Midoriya would smile, happy to see that she had made it into the hero course. He remembered All Might mentioning that she was willing to give him all of her points to make sure he was able to get in. As Midoriya would have a sense in the back of his mind as he would turn and see a man in a sleeping bag. Everyone had freaked out for a second as they believed it was some weird caterpillar thing. But no, it turned out just to be a man who who was just in a sleeping bag. That weirdness getting everyone's attention as the man called everyone to class. But when everyone got in the seats, he said, "It took you nearly a full minute to recognize my presence and settle down. That'll need to be improved." As Midoriya had a feeling this teacher was going to be a pain. A few minutes later, he would tell everyone to put on their gym uniforms and meet him outside. As everyone began to change, Midoriya would actually notice that there was a lot of his classmates. He would actually have a weird sense that he knew several of his classmates. As they would get to the testing field, Aizawa would say, "I see you're finally here. Today we are going to be doing your quirk apprehension test." As an explainer, it's basically like what you did in middle school, except instead of you just using your physical body, you'll be using your quirks as well. We live in a society that still pretends that every man and woman is physically equal. But with quirks, that is not true. As he tossed the ball to Bakugo, "You had the largest destruction score in the class. Try throwing that ball while using your quirk." As Bakugo would throw it. As it got 700 meters. People seemed pretty excited about this, and one person even made the mistake of calling it fun. As Aizawa said, "Fun. If you think it's going to be so fun, here's something for you. Whoever gets the lowest score will be expelled from the hero course." This made everyone freeze for a second and gulp, as someone called it unfair. As Aizawa said, "Do you think natural disasters are fair? Do you think people being attacked in the street is fair? The world is not fair in neither, and if you can't cut it, you're better to leave early." As they began the training. As things would go similar in canon. As Midoriya at this time would actually get a pretty good score. Thanks to his frequent training, he was pretty fit and just used his darkness to enhance his moves in some parts. As most of the scores were roughly even, except for the last person. Midoriya looked over. He could tell she was shaking, even though she was invisible. As Midoriya clenched his teeth, her quirk had nothing to do with movement or physical enhancement. It was completely passive. As Aizawa was gonna tell her something, Midoriya would actually do something that, with a little extra inspection, most would call a little foolish. He told Aizawa, "Do you really think testing all of us like this was right?" Aizawa would take a look at him. "Are you just gonna kick her out because her quirk doesn't have any offensive options? Her quirk's useful on the battlefield." As Aizawa said, "I actually agree." As Midoriya would pause for a second, as he processed the words. He agreed. As Aizawa explained, all this was to test you. As one of the other girls says, wait, was I the only one who figured it out? I'm sorry, I thought everyone realized that. As Midoriya would think he was telling the truth. As Aizawa would just explain that there was a chance, but everyone here showed me potential, along with useful skills. Rough, unpolished, but potential. As Aizawa would just walk away and say, since you guys have missed basic orientation, I recommend you should all pick up your schedules and maps of the campus on your way out. As everyone walked away. As the invisible girl would walk up to Midoriya and thank him. As she said, I noticed you're carrying around a book, as she also had one. This one was also a free leaf clover, but was almost completely ivory white, with some reflective parts scattered all around. As she asked if he knew what they were, as Ochanka would also walk up to him and ask the same thing. Since she had one, no one really had one at the entrance exam, but these just all of a sudden showed up. As Midoriya was thinking that they were definitely weird. As Yami in his head would just say, well, I guess it doesn't matter if you are reincarnated. You still get one. As is where we're going to leave it. I'm kind of hoping to breeze through some of the early parts of My Hero Academia, since I feel that most people know this stuff pretty thoroughly, along with, the early bits of My Hero Academia are some of the least interesting for at least me, because, well, they're all very in by the books, so. But, if you like this content, please like, share, and subscribe, and I hope to see you around. This will be Spell Re, signing off. See ya.